Good evening. It's Diane Evans from stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if this is your first time joining me, I'm really glad that you are. If you're joining me on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe. There's also a button down below, and by hitting that button, you'll get notified immediately as soon as I do go live. Also, if you are on Facebook, just give me the thumbs up, give me a heart. Same with on YouTube. But another thing, share my YouTube or share my video. I really do appreciate that. And by sharing that, basically it puts me in a different group, and it actually allows me and has certain things that really help me and increase my subscribers. So tonight, as I do on Thursday nights, it's my What Now series. So basically, I started doing this series, and it was, people were saying, well, what do you do with this? And what do you do with that? And I like this series. This series shows me different ways that you can use different things. But other things that it does do is it also, it expands the use of what you already have. Now, sometimes there may be certain things that I expand on with different things. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're playing with our cling mount stamps. And I want to show you a few tips and hints and that sort of stuff with them. And I hope that you're going to try this, because this one's a really fun kind of a technique. And also it helps to reduce some of the waste that's in your studio or your craft room. So let's head on down. Now, when I mean a cling mount stamp, what I mean are these stamps that are in the rubber. And a cling mount is basically you would put these labels onto the back. I don't put the labels onto the back, and the reason I don't is Norma, hello. The reason I don't is because I like to be able to, I do it for resale value is one thing, but I don't like the cling, because I tend to leave my stamps on my Stamparatus or on my blocks for a long period of time. And with the cling mount, when you've got these things on there, the labels on there, it tends to stay on there. Oh, excuse me. Stay on there longer. And sometimes they're very, very hard to peel off. But what I want to do is show you what you can do with these cling mounts. Now, a lot of people will just have theirs. They take all theirs off, and then they just end up like this in your stamp pad. How many of you do that? I know a lot of people, this is a great way of keeping your stamps. I find it's great, but then I've got to look down here and find out if I have these, if I've got 6 stamps. But I will show you a little tip that I like to do with it. I take that backing off of there, and then I put this right into my my stamp case, and then I go ahead and I put these in here, and then I know if I'm missing one of my stamp sets. So let's say we just don't put that one in there and it's somewhere on my desk, then I know that I'm missing one. So a lot of times I can go like this, and I can go, oh, I'm missing one stamp set. So what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to make sure, then you've got it, then you know that there's no problem with that. This is something that I've learned many, many years ago. I do share, but I forget to share with some of the newer stampers or ones that have been around that never ever heard this. So anyways, there's this. But what else can you do with this? There's other things that you can do with the clear mount stamps. Well, you know, if you've got this, what you could do is you could cut off some of this. And I'm going to show you a really neat technique that you can do. So you could trim this off. Now, mine are going for resale. So I happen to have some extra. So I've got some of the rubber stamps, right? And I have these. I save it for who knows what reason I do, except for this technique. So what you want to do, how many of you had old wood blocks. And then you've turned around and you've sold them, but you don't know what to do with your blocks. Well, I'm going to show you a really neat technique that you can do with it. So what I have is I have taken off my my stamps off of my wood blocks. Very easy to do. Put it in the microwave for 10 seconds. And well, you know what? I don't know who this is that saying that you used to save all these negative rubber bits with the intention of making the plaything for your grandbabies. Now they have babies. It's kind of funny, but I'm going to show you something, and you're going to wish that you at least kept one of them. In Stampin' Up in Kanab, and that's where they make all their rubber stamps, I want to tell you, they have a playground of these all cut up. The neatest thing. I wish I had a picture of it and I would show you. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off these little knobs here. And I have my stamp set like that. So all I'm going to do is I'm taking my scissors. And for some of you, this might be something that you've had for a long time. I have these old rubber scissors because it used to be that with our wood stamps, and who doesn't still have a wood stamp lovely as a tree? But I love this technique. So all you're going to do is you're just going to cut a bunch of this off. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm not going to do this whole stamp. I've got one already done. So I'm just going to take this backing off. This is going to take a little longer than what I anticipated. So I'm just taking some of this backing off, and I'm just going to stick it onto my stamp. So I'm going to do that with a whole pile of them, and we're just going to randomly put them onto a block. Now, I would not go ahead and put this onto an acrylic block unless it's a really old acrylic block and you don't really care. I would find an old wood block, and I'm sure some of you could even go into a dollar store, and you could get lots of wood blocks. And if you are taking your blocks off and putting them on and doing them as a clear mount, cling mount stamp, you could turn around and you could, so you could use them that way. So like I say, I would continue to do this all the way through and get the whole stamp done. So I've shown this a few times, but this is one that I know I have I have quite a few new followers. So this is something that's really a neat technique. So you want a gap in between, like I say, and I just use these. I'm just going to throw those ones away. So I'm going to finish this at a later date because, like I say, I've already got one done up. Just do a couple more just to show you how easy that really is. This must have been a really old stamp. There we go. All right. So I would continue to do that, and I will. So let me just clean that mess up. And then you end up with something like this. Now, of course, I've got a bigger block. So this will work really good on there. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to show you a really cool technique with this. Now I'm going back to the annual catalog, and we're going to play with Prize Peony. What a beautiful stamp set. Who knows if it's going to retire? I have no idea, but this is such a beautiful set. So we're going to use that. And let's see, I've got my colors here, and yeah, as some of my friends would say, yep, this is a Diane card. And it definitely is because of the colors that I'm using with. You could use a yellow with this. This happens to be petal pink that I'm using, and smoky slate. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and fold into the mountain. And then let's bring in a bone folder. Get a good crease down on there. And then I've gone and I put this through my time-worn type embossing folder. Now, there is a right and a wrong way. There's ones that, you know, you could tell. And I tell by this word, usually harvest. And then that way I know that I've got it going up the right way. So I'm just putting this on with glue. My adhesive of choice, always with an cardstock that's embossed, is always glue. All right, so I'm just going to layer that down. So we kind of get that ready. Now, I was thinking I could put, and you know what? I might do that still. Yeah, I probably will. I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut this 4 inches. Because that's the width of this. This is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to cut 4 inches. And I'm actually going to cut just a smidge bigger than that because I can always trim it off. And then we're going to finish that part after. I have a piece cut for the inside, 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then I also have just a piece, I think this is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my prize peony stamp. Now I'm going to use Memento because I'm going to come in with my stamping blends. But I'm just going to use Memento at this point. And let's just put that down there. All right. Now we're going to kind of let that dry a little bit. I also have some of these tags, and these tags were cut from, it's that snowman one. What was it called? It's called Snow Time Dies. That's in the annual catalog. And I decided what I want to do is I could use some of these sentiments, but I decided that I'm going to use a sentiment from one of my new favorite stamp sets, and that's the Flowing Flowers, but I'm going to use this Just a Note. I could use Happy Birthday on there. I could do a bunch of these different ones, but Just a Note. This one is so fun. Time for a happy dance or sending a card instead of a text. Anyways, I'm going to go in and I'm going to also do that with Memento. Now, just got to see if I can get this straight. All right. Go up on my tippy toes. So, all right. I'm going to keep our fingers crossed that that's straight. Well, it's a little down. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to improvise, and I'm going to do something a little bit different with that. All right. So another thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to cut this out, but I think I'm going to leave this till the end to cut it out with a circle. All right. So now we're just going to go in and color. Now I am using light and dark petal pink and light and dark mint macaron, and really, really simple coloring on this. Like I say, I probably should have let it dry a little bit. But the artists at Stampin' Up show us exactly where to do our shading on here. So I'm just going to, like I say, go in very quickly, saturate this part of the paper. This makes you look like you're a real artist, where really there is hardly anything to doing coloring with this particular one. So now I'm just going to come in where the dark marks are with my dark petal pink. I tend to go from light to dark. Seemed like there wasn't even any coming off of there. But I'm just using the dark just to give a bit more of the shadowing. And then I'm just coming back in with my light petal pink and just going in circles. And yeah, I'm leaving some white spots in there as well. And then I'm just going to use my light and dark mint macaron. And because of this technique again, I know I'd done this earlier this week, is I didn't worry too much about the coloring. And the reason being is because of the technique that I'm doing. But Still want it to look with the shading on there. I've got a leaf coming out here. And you know what? While I'm at this, what I should do is do a very quick one of the peony, this little peony. Let's just put that right in the corner there. I'm going to do that with the Memento ink as well. I know I'm kind of jumping, so you know, I think I'll put it on this corner. All right, so we've got that there. Now I'm going to come in with my dark mint macaron, and like I say, I'm using that same. I'm using the shading from the Stampin' Up Concept Artists. And then I'll just come back in and redo it with the light. And I'm going to leave some light that's giving me some different colors in the mint macaron color. All right. So just like that. And you know what? Let's quickly do this while we've got it. This is a dark petal pink. I want to use the light. Now, also on your blends, just to let you know, the line, the thin line is the this point, and then the other one is the brush point. Okay. And just in some of these darker colors. Like I say, I'm not spending too much time on this. You could be here all night with me coloring, that's for sure. Coloring, I find, is so therapeutic. This is a smaller image, so you're not going to get the same definition as you do on the other one there. There we go. All right. And also when you're using your Stampin' Blends, make sure you get that click. Okay, so we kind of got our stamping done. So then this piece here, what we're going to do is, you know me, I love to do my embossing. So I'm going to come in with my embossing buddy. And I'm going to also do it on the note, just a note. I'm hoping that this one technique that I'm going to do is going to work with that being off-centered like that. All right, so now this is the beauty of it. We are going to do, we are going to take the Versamark and we're just going to stamp this stamp set. We're not going to get any halos because there's nothing to get halos from. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right over top of this. That down. And like I say, I'm also going to do this on this one as well. Just hoping it works, what I want that to happen with this. If not, I've got another one cut out. All right. Now we're going to come in with clear embossing powder. And this is giving like a mosaic sort of look. So I'm dying to see what you do with something like this. Use those stamps. And then I'm also going to do that onto this one here as well. All right. Now I'm going to do this right onto my desktop here. So I have a self-sealing mat underneath. And if I don't put the silicone mat on there, it's going to end up, it could warp it. So now I want to come in with my heat tool, just get it warmed up. Like I say, this is clear embossing powder. Oops. And clear on white is difficult to make sure that you've got it done. Ugh. Hold on. I'll just come in with my stamp, my Take your pick tool and hold it in place. So that you're not going to see too much of this, what's happening here, but I am heat setting the embossing powder. You want to make sure that it does get cooked and that you don't overcook it. And if you look at it from an angle, you can tell if it's been set. Because if you don't set it, it's just going to rub off, right? Almost done here. And then just going to come in with this just a note. I'm going to do the same thing on here. All right. Okay. Now, the thing I want to do next is just going to cover up this in here. I am coming in now with Smoky Slate ink. And I'm just using, I could use blends on here, my blending brushes. But I'm going to use, because I want to have a bit more control, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to use a sponge. And let's see, these sponges are old sponges. And I'm just coming in and I'm just going to do this in circles. I want to get this good and dark. Now, I could do it with my sponge daubers. And, you know, maybe I will, just to show how it will work. I'm just going to make sure that, no, that's going to show. I don't have a clean sponge dauber. I got to get some more. All right, so I'm just going to come in here. And I did re-ink this Smoky Slate ink pad. And this is giving me a mosaic look, right? And see, that's why, again, it doesn't really matter too much how my coloring was, because it's kind of hiding it a bit, but not bad. Just want to get it a lot darker. And then I'm coming in with this one. We're just going to have the same effect on the sentiment. Okay. Now, what we would also do is we'd come in with the Kleenex and we would just wipe that off, the ink off of the clear. I didn't bring a Kleenex with me, or it could be nothing wet. You want it to be dry. All right, so I want to go and I want to cut this out with a circle. And this is from my layering circles. And this one will go through my mini cut and emboss. Barely, but it will. I'll just put my Post-it note tape. Sorry for the arm in the way. You know what? That doesn't have very much stick to it. So I'll just bring in some more Post-it note tape. And let's go and put this down here. And we'll run this through. There we go. All right. So now I also went and cut out a smoky slate circle, just a bit bigger than that. So what I'm going to do is this is going to go onto here. I'm going to have this go across here. Isn't that beautiful, the mosaic look? And you know, and I could off center this too, and I think I might even do that just to give a bit of a different look onto there. But what I want to do is bring in my Petal Pink, this beautiful woven ribbon, and this is still in our catalog, and I'm going to go and I'm going to attach it to this piece here. Now there's a right and a wrong way, so I'm just going to use my tear and tape. And here. Say these are one of those techniques that I love, and I revisit it I try to revisit almost every year just because I love the effect. I remember the first time I did this, I did it for a swap, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So, all right. And then what I do with this is I keep it, and I keep it. I don't even bother cleaning it because I've got lots of rubber that I can turn around and do something with. All right, so this is going to go like this. Now, this is where I'm thinking, where did those words go to? All right, so I'm thinking that this can go on here like so. And I think I might even, if I do this off to the side there, I'm going to do this off to the side there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. I should have. See, where are my little snips? So I'm going to just use these strips here. There's another strip on the other side. See, just like so. And let's get one more down on there. All right, so let's take those off. This is going to go here. My intentions was to actually have this go underneath here like so, but I don't think I need to do that. I think that'll be okay with it being off to the side there. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put some more dimensionals on there. And I'm hoping this is going to stay onto my ribbon, because sometimes when you put dimensionals onto a ribbon, it tends to flop. But I think if I put them down like this, this will be okay. Yeah, you know, like I was thinking of a sympathy card with this, but like I was saying to Kathy today, if I make a sympathy card, then I'm going to have to use it. So my thought is not to have one on hand. So I'm just going to go just a note there. We're going to put this off to the side, and I really wish I had my other dimensionals here. I'm just going to use this whole thing up. All right, so I think I'm going to put this on here, right onto the gray, and then I'm going to pop up the gray. I'm almost out of my glue too. All right. So like I say, I'm going to kind of do that off-centered like that. Get a tiny bit different of a look. And then let's just go ahead and put on these dimensionals. This is zero waste, right? So we're going to use up all these dimensionals. We always do anyways, right? And I got a couple more here. I have a case of pieces of my dimensionals that I keep handy, especially for when I do swats, because I tend to need so many dimensionals for that. But I'm just going to do this. Yeah. This is going to go like this. And then I'm also going to come in here. I was going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to do this or not. I'm going to give it a try. Let's see what it looks like. I don't want it to mess with my sentiment on that note on there. That'll work. All right, so I'm going to come in with my ribbon scissors. I'm going to cut them a little long because this is another technique that I like to do. You know what? I am going to now take my heat gun, and this is a synthetic ribbon, so I'm just going to go and we're going to just melt this ribbon up a little bit. Gives a bit of character. And then we're just going to go on with our embellishments. So pretty cool idea of what to do and how to use your rubber stamps and your cling stamps, right? So let me just go ahead and put this on the inside as well. It's just going to go like this. Like I say, I always tend to go 3 3/4 by 5 on the inside. And I'm using these elegant faceted gems because they are perfect, because this is the petal pink that's on there. So let's go ahead and put that on. Whoops. So goodness. And another one. And I'm using the big ones on this. There we go. There we go. So there's my card. That is using our clear mount stamps. Remember to go ahead and see, I even do it this way. This one doesn't have the backing off. So all you would do is you just turn around, take this backing off like so. Obviously, I haven't used that stamp at all. And then this will tell me if I'm missing any stamps, right? So just like this. And this goes onto here. I know when I sell my stamps, people go, oh, I really like how you do that. So there are lots of people that don't know this technique. So this is just going to go on there. Whoops. Now, when you do tend to trim any of this stuff off, it doesn't fit in as well. But this, at least you can see, I have 2 stamps that are missing from here. And the 2 stamps are the 2 that I used tonight. So I'll just clean those off because they have the memento on there. So like I say, there we go. There's our peony stamp. And hopefully you like that. Anyways, don't forget, give me the thumbs up, share my video, do whatever. I really do appreciate it. And then it goes out onto the internet. So have a great day. Have a great night. And we will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.